Thanks for joining us on our show, Basic Concepts in the Wisdom of Kabbalah with Dr. Michael Laitman. Hello, Dr. Laitman. Hello, everyone. On our show, we will talk today about the soul. I'll try to represent you, the viewers, here in the studio. And let's embark on our journey. Dr. Laitman, from what I know, you grew up and both of your parents were doctors. And in such a home where both parents are doctors, you probably didn't hear too much about the concept of soul. When did you hear about it for the first time, about this concept? Well, look, this concept, it appears in a literature and different books. And it's something that people think that exists in every person. It's something internal, an inner sense of live enlivenment. That's called the soul. When did you first hear about the concept itself? I don't remember, but I think that, from literature. Did it excite you? No. It was something internal that no one really made a big deal out of, an inner part in a person. You're teaching Kabbalah for many years now. Plenty of students started studying with you. Beginners, how do they relate to the concept of the soul? I never start scrutinizing this concept and start talking to them about this concept because it's not for beginners. Later on, we explain it pretty simply, that the soul means a part of the upper force. The upper force is called the Creator, consisting of the words Boreh in Hebrew, meaning come and see, meaning that we can come to a state where we reveal Him. So if man can come to a situation where he reveals the Creator, then what he feels, reveals, perceives inside himself. This sensation is called the feeling or the sensation of the soul. You mentioned that in the literature, the concept of the soul was a kind of inner part that exists in a person, maybe related somehow to the psyche, something that's more exalted than the body itself. Is this definition acceptable in the wisdom of Kabbalah too, a kind of eternal part? A kind of eternal part that can be in a person on condition that he improves himself and reaches a state where that part becomes revealed in him. What does it mean, could be in a person? I thought that a soul is something built in. Every person has a body and a soul. Then what's the difference between man and beast? A beast has a soul too. So that's what I'm asking. In every thing that exists, every living thing. Why only living? So you're saying maybe a flower has a soul too? Why not? So what is a soul then? So, therefore, there is a vital force in every living being of the still vegetative, animate, and human beings, speaking level, and the force that enlivens the created being, you can call that soul too. So the enlivening force that enlivens even the still vegetative, animate, human level that enlivens these degrees is called the soul. Yeah. Now, when Kabbalists talk about the soul, I heard that they say that it's a godly part from above. What does it mean? It means that there are people that can come to a state where they will feel that inside of them there is a force or such a quality called the quality of bestow, of giving, love of others, something that does not usually exist in a person. Therefore, we say a godly part from above, that just like the upper force is entirely in bestowal and love of others, the same way, if in a person there is such a quality, regardless, to some extent, then we say that in that person there is a soul. So there are two different definitions. The one is that there is an enlivening force in whatever exists, still vegetative, animate human beings, that you can call soul. Now, beyond that, you gave me a more advanced concept, the soul being the quality of love and bestowal that man can develop inside of him. Yeah. So there are two levels of the soul, an enlivening force and a quality that man can develop. So the enlivening force that exists in everyone in general, because it exists, even in our world, not only.
Okay.
A grain of sand and everything. Yeah. There's something that sustains it. So that's called soul. And in man too. Something that enlivens him, sustains him in life. And besides that, in man, there could be such an inner part that entirely comes from the upper force, from the bestower, from the lover, from the giver, from that, not that he receives, but he gives, that he's in bestowal outside of himself. So this part is called, in this part, he's considered similar to the Creator. And then, about that, we say that in this person, there's a soul, a real soul, a divine part from above. So now, that person has two, the basic soul, which is the vital force, and also the soul that you call a godly part from above, which is the quality of love and bestow like the Creator. Yeah? What changes in a person who attains this exalted degree, the divine or godly quality, when he achieves the soul? What happens? It's a quality. It's his main quality, that instead of just wanting to receive everything from everyone and enjoying what he receives from his environment, from the still vegetative, animate, and other people, he starts enjoying that he's bestowing to everyone. What do you mean by bestow? That he gives. That instead of drawing to himself, he enjoys giving to others. What does he feel? He feels that in that, he is like the Creator. Does it change his life, the way he feels? Of course, you bet. He feels that he is like the Creator, that in him there is really a godly part from above. He feels that he is a part of God suddenly, or what? Yeah, exactly. In this part, he starts communicating with the Creator directly. He feels like the upper force to a certain extent, like the Creator. And he has communication with the Creator to the extent to which he has that force. He feels that he has communication, yeah. What do you need to do in order to attain such a high degree of the soul? To reach a state where you will want to give to others. Would it be true to say that every person has a soul that as if waits for him to attain it? Yes. The soul that waits for me, for Oren, and the soul that waits for someone else, are they the same or something different? Different. It's like people are different? Yeah, and even more. What determines the kind of soul that I will attain and the kind of soul that you will attain? It's determined by the root of the soul that already exists in a person. Would it be true to say that there are souls that have more experience, maturity? The soul dresses in a person It comes from the Creator and is felt in a person to the extent to which he tries to be like the Creator, the force of love, bestow, and connection. So between the souls, there's there's a storage of souls that's just waiting to dress in a person? Yeah? Not storage, it's called the treasure of souls. Okay, in this treasure, the different souls that are waiting, there are souls that are higher, lower, of course. If I want to attain the highest existing soul in the treasure, can I? Because you said that each has his own soul that's waiting for him. It all depends on you. It's all up to you. You can. It's not that. You have it and that's that. You have the ability to attain the soul to the measure to which you work on becoming like the Creator. You attain a higher and higher soul. So there's no limitation. No, it's not something that's steady and that's it, fixed, package. I can't upgrade. You can. Now there's another concept in Kabbalah. There's this word Tikkun. The concept of Tikkun and soul, correction and soul. Is there a connection between them? Yeah, that we receive our entire corporeal life, this life, in order to fill this life with the soul. And how is it related to the concept of correction? That's called the correction of life. So, can you define it? For me to fulfill myself in my entire life with the clothing of the soul, the force of bestow, love, and connection. Going back to the vital force of the body, the more basic level. This vital force of the body, when does it enter a person's body? When he is an embryo in the womb, before that, after that, when? The vital force is unrelated to the soul. You told me that there are two levels. The vital force that exists in the still vegetative and the animate, and the higher degree, the divine level that exists in human beings. So it's like in biology. When does it enter the body? What do you mean by enters the body? It doesn't enter when he begins to develop we can say from scratch. Then he forms out of himself what we call body. Okay, now on the other side of the scale, when a person dies, leaves this world, what happens with that vital force? It also comes down from the degrees of the still vegetative and the animate, that he was on the animate level, to the vegetative, and then to the still degree, until it completely disintegrates. That vital force that a person had when he was alive, it doesn't have some kind of eternal existence. How come? Why? He doesn't? No? A person passes away, his vital force gradually dissipates, and that's it? Yeah? And that's why he dies. That's why he dies. Is there a difference between the vital force in a person and the vital force in an animal, plant, or the still? Qualitatively? Qualitatively in each, whatever they are, still vegetative, animate, or human being. And they all cease to exist once it stops, or the other way around. So, is there a connection between these two levels, the vital force and the degree that he has to develop? No. Meaning, they're related in that this, let's call it spiritual force, called soul, it needs to also be tied to some kind of bodily force, vital force. Yeah. Okay, now there are different expressions about the soul, if you could explain it in the simplest way. It said, gave his soul back, meaning what? It's as if he used that force that he got from above. He corrected himself. By it, he performed different corrections in the world and stopped working with it, and then gives that force back, stops using it. But it's unrelated specifically to life and death. What then? It's related to that a person's working. It's suppose like I take some appliance and I work with it, and then I give it back. So this appliance that you take, that you work with, this device that you do the work with, it's the soul, the exalted soul of the force of love and bestow. If I use it that way, then probably that's how it is. So why do you need to give it back? Keep on going. I can keep on going. I can add to it and more and more and more forces. I can grow. I'll perform other good actions. When a person passes away, we say, may his soul be included in the bundle of souls, so to speak. It means that a person did some good work, he worked on connecting to other people, etc., etc. So that force comes to him from above, from the general force of bestow, which is the Creator, and then when he passes away, he stops working in bestow and connection between people, because physically he's no longer present among them. Then that force is already no longer being used by that person, and that means that he ascends to the skies, and then he is among the living. Yeah, that's called to be among the living. There's another concept called to raise the soul, elevate it. Who elevates what? That means that the force that a person had that gave a person the ability to bestow, love, connect with others, do good things. That force disappears from a person, and then it means that the human part in him, the Adam in Hebrew, in which he's similar to the Creator, it passed away, it doesn't exist anymore. There is a verse that says that the Creator created man, dust from the earth, and breathed the breath of life into his nostrils. Meaning what? That our basic matter is dust, ash, meaning that there is nothing in it in and of itself that can do anything. And all the forces that we receive them from a higher degree, from the Creator, and that spirit that enters the dust, then from the dust something can start growing from it. Vegetative, animate, or even a human being. I heard the Kabbalah talks a lot about incarnations. What do Kabbalists mean when they talk about incarnations? That in every moment, man can draw upon himself a higher force in order to be more in bestow, more similar to the Creator, closer to the Creator. And why is it called an incarnation, this process? That he works and receives more and changes, and that's how he incarnates. The soul incarnates from what to what? Soul is considered that part in a person by which he can bestow, connect, do good to others. So that part incarnates from what to what? It goes through changes that a person every time is interested in increasing that part in him, and that's why it's called the soul. Meaning that it's something that happens inside a person's life. Right? If a person's ready for it, if he does it, if he understands what's going on. It's like a person lives, and during his lifetime, his soul incarnates. That's what you're saying? Of course. You bet. Times. It's unrelated to our animate body that when he's alive, or the animate body's alive, then the soul's alive. Unrelated. There are people in different cultures that say that they know what they were in their previous incarnations. What is that? The phenomenon itself. Imagination. Imagination. But they give you pictures and describe. They can write novels about it. But it is imagination. Another question. Can a person incarnate in the body of an animal? No. He can behave like an animal. And therefore, it means that he came to an incarnation of a pig. Well, there are those that behave like snakes, like lions. Yeah, a person this way dresses in different animals. But in this lifetime, suppose Owen, I'm a human being. Could I have really been an animal previously? It's unrelated. Unrelated. Whoever lives the way he is. Now, Kabbalah says that all of us are one soul. What does it mean? That actually all of us belong to one spiritual structure called either soul or the soul of Adam HaRishon or Adam HaRishon, doesn't matter how you call it. But it is one big desire that afterwards divides into billions of parts called human beings. The sons of that Adam, or of that one structure that the Creator created. So the Creator created us as one soul, as one structure, yes. And now we're separate. Each feels himself. Afterwards, there was a, let's call it corruption, and that one soul broke. Due to an action called sin, and it broke into many different parts. In the future, when we will be on our highest degree of development, will we go back to being one soul again? Yeah, of course. How will we feel when we will be one soul?
I can't describe it to you. We'll feel as one man in one body where all of us are together. Will there be about me, Oren, something that's unique only for me? There will be a point from which you will connect to everyone and unite everyone and will keep everyone together. And that's how it is for everyone. And all those actions, attainments, points will connect together into one body called Adam. How will others treat me when we will all be as one soul? They will not treat you. Everyone will relate to everyone, will treat everyone as though it's we, all of us together, one. Will it be boring? That's a different question. I think that it's going to be something really good. Really good. Because in that we start attaining the Creator, the inner force of the whole of reality, and then from one end to the other, we will come to know the whole of reality. It's the biggest pleasure. What will be so fun about that state? The righteous enjoy the radiance of divinity. What does the saying mean? It's not a saying. It's the truth. It means that he who comes to a state where he justifies everything that goes on, and that's why he's called righteous, tzaddik in Hebrew, because he matzdik justifies. Then He sits, meaning he's not upright, but he sits and attains all the actions of the Creator over the whole of humanity all together and enjoys how much the Creator is in them, present in them, fulfilling them, and they enjoy Him, that He's in them and arranges them that way. And their feeling is considered the radiance of the Creator, of divinity. Suppose more and more people would know that we're one soul. How would that change our day-to-day life? I think that they probably heard about it once, but it doesn't mean anything. I don't think that it will influence anyone. Because no one feels what the soul is. We're approaching the end of the show. You taught me many things about the soul. You said that there's a soul on the basic level, there's the enlivening soul, vital force, that there are many parts. There's the nefesh, ruach, neshama, chaya, yechida, the 5 parts of the soul, the so-called neran chai, and they too are divided into further neran chai and further neran chai. It's a complicated concept. So, simply put, the soul is wet, a godly part from above. And if to elaborate a bit, the feeling, the sensation of the Creator inside a person. What is the Creator, so I don't get confused? Love. A feeling of life inside the person is the soul? Yeah. Beautiful. What can you wish me as a beginner in regard to my spiritual development of the soul? So I wish for you to attain all the neran chai, meaning all the parts that exist in your soul, and that you will feel how much the Creator is fulfilling it fully. Thank you very much, Dr. Laitman. Thank you for being with us. Good luck to everyone. Basic concepts and the wisdom of Kabbalah, the soul.